What's going on, guys? Shine Obsessed here. Today, guys, we're bringing you a product from a company that's been in the detailing game for a long time now, Poorboy's World. If you guys aren't familiar with them, they're an American company. They're a no-nonsense kind of company. They don't do a lot of marketing. Their product labels are really simple, really basic. The whole thought process is that we're not going to try to jazz you up with shiny, beautiful labels. We're just going to give you basic labels and make a good product that works and works well. And they've got a pretty good fan following. They've been in the game for a long time. I don't remember when they were established. I should probably start looking up these facts before I do some of these videos, but I like to kind of do them off the top of the head. But they have been in the detailing game for a long time, back in the day before coatings, before even sealants were really popular. One of my favorite products to apply to a vehicle was Natty's Paste Wax. Not only was it a good product, it produced a really great finish, and it was actually pretty durable for its time. If you can go look it up, Natty's Blue Paste Wax. And they had red. If I remember correctly, the red was like for darker colors, the blue. But I just used the blue because it was what I knew and what I liked. It worked really well, it was really durable, and produced great shine and results on vehicles. And that was back when I was only doing my own vehicle. I did some research, and Natty's Blue Paste Wax was one of my favorites, and it's still a good product to this day. You got that garage queen, something that you don't drive often, doesn't see the outside. Natty's Blue Paste Wax is awesome, simple to use, provides great results, and it's actually pretty durable as well. And this is, 10, 12 years later. It can still stand the test of time to some of the products that are on the market today. But today, we're going to be talking about some of their new line. They've introduced a ceramic series, just as everybody's doing, because ceramic is that buzzworthy, product. I mean, even that ceramic is getting kind of old now. There are some new ones coming out, which I'll be getting and checking out in terms of the protection side of things, and that's graphene. So we're not going to focus on that today. We'll talk about that in later videos. But what we have today is the Poorboy's World Super Hydrophobic Ceramic Coating. We ordered a 30 milliliter bottle. Seems like it's plenty enough to do a mid-sized vehicle. They say they don't recommend multiple coats, which is what I like. I'm not a fan of those coating manufacturers that suggest you add 10 coats for gloss and hardness and all that kind of nonsense. 1 to 2 coats is all any of you should ever need. I mean, if you want to do more, waste your time with your product, have at it. If it gives you some type of psychological effect that you're getting more protection or more gloss, it is what it is. Do your thing. But their product is not labeled as something that you need to put multiple coats on. It's pretty simple. And again, if you look at their labeling, no nonsense, nothing special, black and white, instructions, precautions, and we'll show you what the kit comes with. It comes with this 30 milliliter of the actual coating. You get microfiber applicator block, a couple of micro suede applicators, and what feels like a pearl weave microfiber towel. And I've talked about pearl weaves a little bit before. They're my preferred towel for coating removal, so I guess that's why that's supplied. So let's get into the application. I haven't applied the product before. Oh, I'm sorry. And it also comes with this pipette to help get the product onto the applicator. These are always handy. Some bottles come with the plastic droppers on them, or the plastic tops on the bottle itself, that you have to kind of give the bottle a little shake for it to drop out. I prefer the pipettes, though they're one-use kind of thing, so I always buy extras. Now we're working with the fender of one of my personal vehicles. The reason why we're only going to do the fender is because my fender got kind of wrecked. I was doing some maintenance. I'm kind of embarrassed to even admit it. I was draining the power steering fluid from the car in preps of replacing the reservoir because it has a filter in it. But anyway, the container that I was pumping out, evacuating the fluid from the reservoir into the container, I bumped the hood and I spilt it on the fender here. And if you don't know anything about power steering fluid, it is very corrosive. On this panel of the vehicle, actually on this whole side of the vehicle, for about 1.5 years now, I've had 22 PLE, their consumer grade coating. I think it's HPC. On the vehicle, it's been holding up really well. It's been on here 1.5 years still, beating, cheating really well. So 22 PLE is another good product, and I can do a video on theirs too. But I had that on this area of the vehicle, and as soon as I spilled that power steering fluid on here, I mean, it ate right through it, and I had to quickly grab some Optimum Power Clean, spray it down, hose it down, wash it, so it didn't eat through my paint. Very corrosive. So now this panel was pretty much bare, so I went ahead and after I got it all cleaned up, at the time I just did a little spray. I think I put on here some C2V3 and just went with it because I just didn't have time to do anything at the moment. But what I have done prior to the video, I polished it with my Rupes Milli on the coarse wool polishing pad and the Rupes coarse compound. That's a great combination. It cuts through. There was only minor swirls in here, but this paint is really rock hard. This Parking Graphite Metallic on the 3 Series BMW is pretty hard paint. So polish that down, that decent defect removal. There were only minor defects anyway. Polished it, well, I clayed it, polished it, prep wiped it, so now it's ready for your protection. So we're gonna be doing the Poorboy's World Super Hydrophobic Ceramic Coating. Now this coating is advertised as a 3-year durability. We all know with durability, it matters. What matters is how you maintain it. If you let it sit outside, you don't wash it, you don't clean it, it's not gonna last 3 years. You might even get it, you might barely get a year out of it. So durability is all about how you maintain it. So we won't get too far into that. Application process is pretty simple. The instructions say to wrap your applicator block with a microswave towel. It's pretty standard fare. We're gonna take our pipette, get a little bit of the product. We're doing this real time. I haven't applied this, never used this before, so what you see is what you get. Now we're going to start applying on our panel. This is an aqua shaped panel, but we can still do our crosshatch application technique just to be sure we're getting the product on evenly. Now ideally I would tape off the edges of this just to ensure I'm not spreading it on other panels, but I've done this a few times and I'll make sure I wipe good. Now, what's interesting about this is the instructions say to then switch back to the dry microswave applicator and go over that section just to be sure you level out the product. Interesting, very interesting in the process. So you might need to separate them to be sure which is your wet applicator, which is your dry applicator. So we're going to go back to the dry to prep us for the rest of the panel. Now, there's no dwell time, there's no instructions, don't say let it sit for 2 minutes, 3 minutes. Now we go ahead and buff off, and I can tell you there's very little left on the panel. Very smooth, not tacky. I didn't let it sit for too long. A little bit humid today. It's about 60% humidity. In the low 70s. Not bad at all. So, that was pretty easy. Pretty drama free. Let's move on. We've already put the wet applicator back onto our wet microswave back onto our applicator block. Gonna get a few more drops. And again, I'm probably starting just slightly into the area I applied before. And again, we're gonna go small section, crosshatch overlaying pattern, just to be sure we're evenly applying the product. Now, I'm gonna go back, and as you can see, you can start to really see that that applicator is wet with product. We're gonna switch back to our dry. Again, that's an interesting technique to level it out. I mean, we could do that with a towel. I'm just going by the instructions just to show you guys. I probably wouldn't do that step. I would just go straight to buffing off with the pearl weave. But I get it. If you're a first time user of a coating of any type, you may be a little heavy handed and get a little bit too much product, which could eventually cause you some high spots or it may be hard to wipe. But so far, so good, stress-free, nice and smooth, not very tacky. Actually not tacky at all when trying to wipe. I'll probably do some later testing off camera where I let it sit a little bit longer just to see how long it takes to tack up, or even if it does tack up. A little bit more product here, just to do the lower part of the panel. So again, I would probably skip the wiping with the dry microspade step and just go straight to buffing off with the pearl weave towel. But like I said, I get it. Some people may be hitting it. Now, initial thoughts are the panel has really smoothed out after applying. Now the product does say directions say to wait 12 hours for the product to cure, 48 hours before getting it wet, and I think it's 72 hours before you get any chemicals such as your wash media. So about 3 days before washing it, which is actually not very long at all for a coating. I know most say 5 to 7 days, but that's still pretty good. So far I like it, works really well. We'll see if it stands the test of time. Another interesting fact about this product is that it also states that it is usable on your trim, so your hard plastic trim, not the porous stuff, but the more, you know, the plastic around your wheel wells, that kind of trim, around your windows, around your mirrors, mirror caps, and also good on glass and rims. So this is kind of a one-stop shop product, and I know I've used some of the other ones as well, even though it doesn't state that it treats certain materials. I've used it and found it effective. So this one comes out of the box saying that it's good for glass, your trim, your wheels. So you could essentially get, I don't know if a 30 milliliter bottle like this would be able to do everything, but you can get most of the car done, say your glass, your trim, your paint, and your plastic, all out of this 30 milliliter bottle. If you look in something like a truck, a slightly larger vehicle, SUV, you may want to get a 50 milliliter bottle. Again, it doesn't state that it requires multiple coats, so one coat could get the job done on all your entire vehicle, every surface. So I like that. That's pretty good. And one-stop shop in terms of coatings. You don't have to buy multiple bottles of different products for different surfaces on your vehicles. So that's it, guys. That's the Poorboy's World Super Hydrophobic Ceramic Coating. I like it, and it's actually priced well. So the lack of splashy, snazzy bottles and advertising also translates to a cheaper price. So time will tell how well this holds out. I'll give you guys some updates as I wash throughout the months on how well it's holding up on this panel. I'm also going to coat, I just installed some new headlights. That was a whole shebang, debacle with my headlights, but I ended up getting some new ones. So I'm going to coat the headlights as well, see how that holds up, and I'll do some update videos when I do the panel for the headlights too. So that's it, you guys. Poorboy's World Super Hydrophobic Coating. Really like it. Seems to get good results. Go ahead and get you some. I'm going to post a link in the description, and I'll also post my discount code if you decide to go get some on detailimage.com. So That's it, guys. See you in the next one.